God says, "My child, before your mind turns this into fear, slow down and breathe, because this message is not about danger, it is about awareness, not about panic, but about preparation of your mind and heart." And sometimes life sends subtle reminders before important realizations unfold so that you are emotionally ready to understand what you once overlooked. The days leading up to February 22nd are not meant to create anxiety within you. They are meant to sharpen your perception gently, to help you notice patterns, conversations, behaviors, and opportunities that you may have previously dismissed or ignored due to distraction or emotional attachment. Archangel Micheal says there are moments in life when clarity arrives quietly, not with loud drama but with subtle confirmation, and those confirmations often feel like small realizations that suddenly make sense of past confusion. You may remember situations where something felt slightly off but you chose harmony over questioning. You may recall conversations where your intuition whispered softly but you silenced it to avoid tension. This upcoming period is about strengthening your trust in that inner voice. Awareness does not require confrontation. Awareness requires observation. When you observe calmly, you begin to see connections between actions and intentions that were not obvious before. God says, "My child, you are entering a short season of mental sharpening. Your sensitivity to energy will increase. Your ability to read tone and consistency will improve. Your patience for misalignment will decrease." These are not negative changes. They are signs of maturity. Maturity does not make you suspicious, it makes you selective. Selective with your words. Selective with your time. Selective with your emotional investment. You are not being asked to fear anyone. You are being asked to notice who aligns with your growth and who only aligns with your convenience. There is something important about the things you ignored. Often, we ignore red flags not because we are unaware, but because we want to preserve peace. You value harmony. You value connection. But harmony built on silence can create long-term confusion. This period is about internal honesty. Honest reflection without self-judgment. Ask yourself where you compromised your intuition. Ask yourself where you accepted less clarity than you deserved. This is not about blaming yourself. It is about strengthening your discernment moving forward. Archangel Micheal says clarity will not arrive to break your heart. It will arrive to protect it. Protection through awareness is stronger than protection through avoidance. When you become aware early, you adjust calmly. When you adjust calmly, you prevent emotional damage later. Emotional intelligence is one of your greatest strengths, and it is increasing right now. You are learning to observe without reacting immediately. You are learning to process without exploding. You are learning to distance without drama. These are powerful skills. God says, "My child, until February 22nd, move with intention. Speak thoughtfully. Listen carefully. Do not overshare your plans with everyone. Not because someone is against you, but because not everyone needs access to your inner world. Access should be earned through consistency. Consistency proves alignment. Alignment builds trust. Trust deepens connection. This period is also about self-awareness. You may notice certain habits within yourself that require adjustment. Perhaps you delayed important decisions. Perhaps you avoided uncomfortable conversations. Perhaps you ignored personal goals due to distraction. Awareness applies to yourself as much as to others. Growth is not one-sided. When you become honest with yourself, your path becomes clearer. Archangel Micheal says something may happen that feels like a small revelation, a conversation, an observation, or a situation that suddenly clarifies what you previously sensed but could not confirm. When that moment comes, remain calm. Do not react impulsively. Let clarity settle. Clarity is strongest when processed peacefully. God says, "My child, do not approach these days with fear. Approach them with focus. Focus sharpens perception. Fear distorts it. Replace anxiety with attentiveness. Replace suspicion with discernment. Replace overthinking with grounded observation. You are capable of handling truth calmly. You are stronger than you realize. This is not a warning of harm. It is a reminder of awareness. Awareness strengthens you. Awareness refines your circle. Awareness protects your progress. You are being gently guided toward sharper perception and stronger boundaries. God says, "My child, as you move closer to this date, understand deeply that this is not a countdown toward fear but a preparation for perception, because sometimes awareness increases before a meaningful realization unfolds, and when awareness increases, your thoughts become sharper, your emotional reactions slow down, and your intuition begins speaking with greater confidence than before." You are not being warned of danger, you are being invited into discernment. Discernment is calm. Discernment is steady. Discernment allows you to see patterns clearly without becoming overwhelmed by them. The days leading up to February 22nd are about strengthening your mental clarity so that when something becomes evident, you are emotionally balanced enough to handle it maturely. Archangel Micheal says you may begin to notice small details that once seemed insignificant. A tone in someone's voice. A shift in someone's consistency. A repeated pattern in behavior. These details are not appearing to disturb your peace, they are appearing to refine it. Peace built on ignorance feels temporary. Peace built on awareness feels stable. You are being shifted from temporary comfort to lasting clarity. And clarity does not arrive with chaos, it arrives with confirmation. Confirmation often feels quiet but undeniable. It feels like an internal voice saying, "Now I understand." God says, "My child, there were moments in the past when you sensed something but chose to ignore it because you wanted to maintain harmony. You are compassionate. You avoid unnecessary conflict. You prefer connection over confrontation. But sometimes growth requires honesty more than harmony. Ignoring subtle misalignments can create confusion over time. This upcoming period is about internal honesty. Honest reflection about what you have tolerated. Honest evaluation of what you truly deserve. Honest recognition of where your intuition was correct. There is also a shift happening within your own mindset. You are becoming less reactive and more reflective. Before, sudden realizations might have triggered emotional responses. Now, you pause. You analyze. You choose your response deliberately. This is maturity in motion. Maturity does not remove emotion, it manages it wisely. When clarity arrives, your calmness will protect your dignity. You will not need dramatic reactions. Your strength will show through composure. Archangel Micheal says awareness does not mean suspicion. It means attentiveness. Suspicion creates tension. Attentiveness creates understanding. When you observe calmly, you gather information without distorting it through fear. Fear magnifies assumptions. Calmness magnifies truth. Approach this period with calmness. Listen more. Speak thoughtfully. Notice consistency over time rather than isolated incidents. Truth reveals itself through repetition. God says, "My child, this period is not only about noticing others, it is about noticing yourself." You may recognize habits you have delayed changing. You may realize decisions you postponed out of comfort. You may see opportunities you overlooked because of distraction. Awareness is powerful when directed inward. Self-awareness creates growth that cannot be shaken by external events. When you improve your own alignment, external clarity becomes easier to handle. There may be a conversation, an event, or a simple observation that confirms something you once felt but could not articulate. When that moment happens, allow it to settle. Do not rush to conclusions. Let understanding unfold gradually. Sometimes clarity needs space before action follows. Immediate reaction can cloud the wisdom of realization. Patience strengthens perception. Archangel Micheal says protect your energy during this period. Avoid unnecessary drama. Limit oversharing of personal plans. Not because someone is against you, but because your vision deserves privacy until it is strong enough to stand without external influence. Privacy preserves focus. Focus strengthens direction. Direction accelerates progress. God says, "My child, your intuition has been strengthening quietly. You are learning to trust your inner signals more confidently." That trust is part of your evolution. You no longer dismiss your feelings instantly. You evaluate them thoughtfully. This balanced evaluation prevents both paranoia and ignorance. Balance is power. Balanced perception ensures that when truth becomes clear, you respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Until February 22nd, move with intention. Review your priorities. Clarify your boundaries. Strengthen your routines. Notice who supports your growth consistently and who engages only when convenient. These observations are not for resentment, they are for refinement. Refinement strengthens your circle and simplifies your path. God says, "My child, clarity is a gift. It may challenge comfort temporarily, but it strengthens your long-term peace. You are capable of handling truth with grace. You are capable of adjusting without drama. You are capable of moving forward without bitterness. Let this period sharpen your awareness without hardening your heart. God says, "My child, as these days continue unfolding, understand that awareness is not a single moment but a gradual unveiling, and sometimes what you once ignored does not return loudly but reappears gently in a way that finally makes sense to your spirit. You are not entering a period of fear, you are entering a period of heightened perception, and heightened perception changes how you interpret conversations, behaviors, and even your own internal reactions. You are beginning to see beyond surface words and notice consistency, tone, timing, and intention more clearly. This clarity is not here to disturb you, it is here to mature you. Maturity does not rush to judgment, it patiently gathers understanding before responding. Archangel Michael says you may feel an internal shift where your tolerance for confusion decreases and your desire for truth increases. You no longer want half answers or uncertain dynamics. You want clarity, alignment, and authenticity. That desire is not negativity, it is growth. Growth often makes you uncomfortable with situations you previously accepted without question. When growth expands your awareness, you naturally outgrow environments that lack transparency. This outgrowing is not rejection, it is evolution. You are evolving into someone who values peace built on truth rather than comfort built on silence. God says, "My child, there were moments when you sensed something but convinced yourself it was overthinking. There were instances when your intuition whispered but your logic dismissed it to avoid conflict. This time, however, you are learning to listen without panic and evaluate without denial. Listening calmly to your intuition strengthens your internal compass. Your internal compass becomes more reliable when you respect it consistently. Respecting your intuition does not mean acting impulsively. It means observing carefully and allowing patterns to confirm what you feel. You may notice that certain conversations feel different during this period. Words may carry deeper meaning. Silence may communicate more than speech. Small inconsistencies may become more noticeable. Do not interpret these observations through fear. Interpret them through discernment. Discernment is steady and composed. It does not exaggerate, it clarifies. When something becomes clear, your reaction will be quieter than you expected. Quiet clarity is powerful because it requires no dramatic validation. Archangel Micheal says you are strengthening your emotional intelligence significantly. Emotional intelligence means you can feel deeply without reacting destructively. It means you can recognize misalignment without creating unnecessary confrontation. It means you can adjust boundaries without announcing every realization. This level of composure protects your dignity. It protects your relationships that are healthy. It filters those that are not aligned. God says, "My child, this period is also about self-reflection." You may realize areas where you delayed important decisions. You may recognize habits that need refinement. Awareness is not only about others, it is about you. When you grow internally, external clarity becomes easier to process. The more aligned you are with your values, the less confusing external behavior feels. Alignment simplifies perception. There may be a specific moment before or around February 22 when something small happens that connects multiple past experiences in your mind. It could be a statement, an action, or even a silence that confirms what you once doubted. When that moment comes, remain centered. Do not rush to label it. Let your understanding settle. True clarity feels peaceful even when it is surprising. If it creates chaos inside you, give yourself time to reflect before responding. Archangel Micheal says this is not about cutting people off impulsively. It is about recalibrating your emotional investment wisely. You are learning to measure access. You are learning that not everyone needs full transparency about your plans or vulnerabilities. Protecting your vision is not secrecy, it is strategy. Strategy ensures that your growth remains uninterrupted by unnecessary external opinions. God says, "My child, you are stronger than the situations you once feared." Your ability to remain calm during realization proves your maturity. You no longer collapse under confusion. You process, you evaluate, you adjust. Adjustment is power. Power does not need loud display, it operates quietly. Until February 22nd, focus on strengthening your routines. Keep your schedule structured. Protect your energy from distractions. Listen more than you speak. Observe more than you react. These practices sharpen awareness naturally. Awareness sharpened through calm focus cannot be manipulated easily. You are not being isolated, you are being refined. Refinement removes unnecessary emotional weight. Refinement clarifies relationships. Refinement strengthens identity. Identity built on self-awareness cannot be shaken by sudden realization. God says, "My child, trust that whatever becomes clear will ultimately support your growth, not hinder it." Clarity may feel uncomfortable briefly, but comfort built on ignorance is temporary. Truth builds stable peace. Stable peace strengthens confidence. Confidence sustains momentum. God says, "My child, as this period approaches its final stretch, understand that awareness reaches its strongest point not when you search aggressively for answers, but when you become still enough to notice what has been repeating quietly all along, because repetition reveals truth more clearly than isolated events ever could." You are not being led into fear, you are being led into understanding, and understanding brings calm strength rather than emotional chaos. The days leading up to February 22nd are shaping you into someone who sees without reacting, who processes without panicking, and who adjusts without announcing every realization publicly. This emotional steadiness is the real blessing unfolding in your life. Archangel Micheal says something subtle may align in your mind during this time, almost like pieces of a puzzle connecting naturally, and when they connect, you may realize that the signs were always present, but your heart chose patience over confrontation, and now patience is rewarding you with perspective. Perspective is powerful because it allows you to view situations without emotional distortion. When perspective grows, emotional impulsiveness shrinks. You begin responding thoughtfully instead of defensively. This change in response marks your growth more than any external event. God says, "My child, clarity does not demand revenge, and it does not demand loud exposure. It invites maturity." Maturity means you do not need to prove what you understand. You do not need to convince others of what you have realized. You simply adjust your access, your trust, and your focus quietly. Adjustment is wisdom in motion. When you adjust calmly, you prevent unnecessary drama. Drama consumes energy. Energy is required for growth. Protect your energy. There may be a moment where you see someone's consistency differently. It might not be a shocking revelation, it may simply be a confirmation of what your intuition whispered before. When confirmation arrives, remain composed. Do not allow ego to lead your reaction. Let awareness guide you gently. Sometimes the strongest response is reduced availability. Sometimes the strongest statement is silence combined with new boundaries. Boundaries are not punishment, they are protection. Archangel Micheal says your internal growth has prepared you for this clarity. Months ago, you might have reacted with frustration or sadness. Now, you observe with understanding. That change proves your emotional evolution. Evolution feels subtle at first, but it transforms how you experience life. When you evolve emotionally, situations that once drained you now simply inform you. Information empowers. Empowerment strengthens confidence. God says, "My child, this is also a time to refine your own patterns." Ask yourself where you ignored your intuition previously. Ask yourself where you prioritized harmony over honesty. Self-reflection prevents repetition. Repetition of mistakes creates cycles. Breaking cycles creates freedom. Freedom strengthens your direction. You are breaking cycles quietly by becoming more self-aware. Until February 22nd, maintain composure in conversations. Avoid oversharing your personal plans. Observe reactions when you succeed, and observe reactions when you struggle. Genuine alignment reveals itself in consistent support, not occasional encouragement. Support is steady. Inconsistency speaks louder than words. Notice patterns without dramatizing them. Archangel Micheal says you are stepping into a season where discernment will protect your peace more than ever before. Discernment is not suspicion. It is clarity balanced with calmness. When you combine clarity with calmness, you cannot be easily manipulated emotionally. Emotional manipulation thrives on impulsive reaction. Calm perception neutralizes it. God says, "My child, you are not losing people, you are refining your circle." Refinement does not always require confrontation. It often requires quiet distance and stronger boundaries. The ones meant to remain will adjust naturally. The ones who resist your boundaries reveal themselves without effort from you. Let natural alignment unfold. There is strength in trusting your inner voice. Trust builds confidence. Confidence reduces fear. Reduced fear sharpens thinking. Sharp thinking protects progress. You are learning to trust your inner guidance more consistently. That trust is a sign of maturity. Maturity does not eliminate challenges, it improves your handling of them. When February 22nd passes, you may look back and realize that the clarity you received did not harm you, it strengthened you. It simplified decisions. It strengthened boundaries. It clarified relationships. Simplification creates focus. Focus accelerates growth. God says, "My child, walk through these days with quiet confidence. There is nothing to fear. There is only awareness to embrace. Awareness sharpens your vision. Vision strengthens direction. Direction builds destiny. You are not being warned of destruction, you are being prepared for elevation through clarity." If this message resonated with you deeply, comment, "I move with calm clarity and strength," below. Like and subscribe if you are ready to embrace awareness, strengthen your boundaries, and step confidently into your next season with maturity and peace.